So recently I was in Taiwan and we did all the editing on this rig. In fact, Phil was editing on this rig from America while I was in Taiwan. And this is what it sounded like. So today we're gonna actually open this up and see if maybe I'm having a paste issue or something. The fans kind of go crazy on this. And I'm just curious now, after the few years that I've had this, if I'm dealing with pump out, do I have a paste issue? Did the paste crack? It's just, it's not quiet in any imagination. If you're serious about your aim, your mouse actually matters more than people think. And this is Be Quiet's new Dark Perk gaming mouse. Now what I like is that they don't do the usual one shape fits nobody approach. You've got two options, the Sim, which is a classical symmetrical design, and the Ergo, if you want something that actually fits your hand for longer sessions. It's also super lightweight, which makes a bigger difference than people realize, and less fatigue, easier micro adjustments, and just better overall control. And inside you get the PixArt PAW3950 sensor, up to 32,000 DPI, and 8,000 Hertz polling. So yeah, this is top tier tracking, and no weird acceleration, no spin outs, and just exactly what you expect your mouse to do. And the clicks feel really nice too. These are optical Omron switches, so they're fast, consistent, and a little softer than the typical click, which is great for long sessions. And then the part that people overlook, it's 100% PTFE skates with rounded edges, which means this thing glides smooth, predictable, and with no drag. Oh, and with up to 110 hours of battery life, so you're not constantly plugging it in. So if you're trying to get every little advantage you can in competitive gaming, this is one of those upgrades you'll actually notice. So check out the Be Quiet Dark Perk mouse in the link in the description below. So of course I'm using Heaven, just because Steve hates it. Anyway, so the air coming out is actually not that warm, which is my first telltale sign that something might, yeah, it's really loud, but it's my telltale sign that something might not be transferring heat very well. Because normally, like the air coming out of the laptop when it was working really well would be very, very warm because heat transfer. If the heat is not making it out of the component, the fans can ramp up all they want. The heat's not transferring to the heatsink, therefore it's not doing its job. Now, right now in Heaven, it shows, my God, it's in 4K. Phil, can you read the corner? Because I can't.
Wait, which corner? Temperature, 85, yeah. 86.
Okay, so that's GPU temp right there. CPU though, that's the crazy part. Even though this is a synthetic, the CPU is running much warmer than I feel like it should be. Now also too, Phil was doing like Adobe. Okay, so right now, look at that. CPU was at 85 for a second. Now here's the thing, these temperatures are not bad. Yes, I'm in performance mode. They're not terrible, but the thing is like, depending on the title, and I'll demonstrate this right now. I'll go ahead and stop Heaven, because Heaven honestly is not a very difficult test to run. It has its uses. And yes, I also had the power brick like this in the hotel, to try and get as much airflow to the bottom of it as possible, because of the fact that I was like, okay, obviously we need, if we get more airflow, more intake on the bottom, you know, it's not being choked off by the table or because it was on a little desk, then we should be okay. But I mean, you hear the speeds right now, right? Phil, wait till I actually get to the menu. Actually, listen, we are loading Winrose. It's an Unreal 5 title. Temperatures while in the menu, 80C for the CPU, 97 for the CPU. 85, 86 for the GPU. Now this is a shared heat pipe system, so almost hit 90 for the GPU right there. We are in the menu. We're not even in the game. So right now I'm simply loading onto my server. I have a server for Windows. It's not even like locally hosted on this machine. It's at 98C on the CPU. Like GPU is obviously chilling right now because it's not doing much. With the CPU, man, hitting nearly 100C. Now here's the thing, these laptops, these are intended to run at those temperatures. They don't have to run at those temperatures. I've seen plenty of laptops that can run much, much cooler. But look at that, in the game, the CPU is at 87, 89. GPU is obviously having a lot of work to do too. So this is my daughter's little camp I was building for her. The FPS is so bad. But I gotta do something real quick. I must call forth the Liberty Bibberty. So I'm curious right now if a repasting job would be worth it. Now, I have a theory that this laptop spends most of its life vertical in my backpack. And vertical mount GPUs, in like discrete GPUs in a system, have been known to potentially pump out their paste because of phase change, right? So they go, all right, let me get out of the game so I can hear myself think. So when they are at room temp, they're much thicker. Like the thermal grizzly paste is very thick at room temp. But then when it gets nice and warm, it goes soft and then it fills in all the micro cracks and crevices and voids between the two mating surfaces, which then flows to where it's supposed to flow to, which then gives it a nice bond. Theoretically, if you put the laptop away warm, which I do quite often, in a vertical position, you could have that start to seep or pump out. So, and not to mention the mating pressure between the two surfaces are squeezing very tight on that paste. So that's why I like KPX, although an amazing thermal paste, it's very liquidy at room temp because it's intended to perform very well at sub-zero temperatures, which is where it gets thicker. So it's like it's kind of like the best in the XOC paste as far as I'm concerned, but it's not a great everyday paste if you're running a vertical mounted GPU or even your CPU blocks because of those constant phase changes there. As it gets hotter, it gets even thinner, so it can definitely run out. Phil's dealt with pump out on KPX quite a bit. I'm not having too many issues with pump out because I'm not running any sort of vertical mounted GPU. So I'm just gonna check this today. Now this is an Origin PC, but it's a Clevo, right? Origin just rebrands Clevo. A lot of the brands either rebrand Tom Fang, Dell HP Clevo, etc. So if it looks similar, like it's an Eon 17X as you can see, but if it looks similar to other laptops, that would be why. Like Falcon Northwest also uses Clevo as an ODM or the original manufacturer, essentially, if you will. All right, so I'm just gonna have to make my way around all these perimeter screws using my iFixit. No explosions. They don't sponsor anybody anymore, including us. I don't know if I'm gonna need a pry tool to take this apart, but every screw is the same length. So that was kind of nice to see. I wasn't really expecting that. Like sometimes like these might be longer, that middle one might be longer, but that wasn't the case with these. But this slides off. Yeah, that much I remember because I have seen how that comes off. So, okay, that was actually really easy. What is the speed of this RAM? DDR5, oh, 4800. I'm just kidding, just kidding. There's actually numbers on the screws, and that's cool because that tells you the tightening down order, which means taking it off, do it in reverse order. So the highest number I see so far appears to be 11, and they should be captive. They are spring loaded. They should be captive. Yeah, so there's 11. Oh, 13. Right here, see that? So that means there's a 12 somewhere. Yeah, it's lifting now. There we go. So there's putty. So I'm gonna have to replace the putty. Fortunately, I do have more putty. GPU though looks really thin to me. Like that doesn't look like, even though the temperatures weren't terrible, that doesn't look like the best mating surface to me. Looks like there could have been potentially, room for improvement there. I'm going to apply the alcohol to my blue towel first, kind of fold it over like this. And I'm gonna be careful because there are SMDs that stick up on the CPU, like in the surrounding the CPU, and I do not want to break anything off. Now, granted, if there's anything I learned through all, geez, there's so much paste on there. If there's anything I learned in all the soldering stuff, it's harder to damage the SMDs than you would think, but not impossible. Now, the cool thing is I can pour this directly on the PCB like that. I know I'm probably just triggered a bunch of people, but that paste is so thick around there. All right, let me clean this up and we'll come back with what it looks like when I'm done. So the GPU has this metal shield that like surrounds it. I'm not gonna peel that up, that's adhesive. But I am going to, I'm gonna leave this residue on there, I think, for the putty. I'm just gonna scrape this one off. I think it's putty. Some companies have used direct thermal paste on the top of RAM chips. You can do that, it's not a bad thing, but putty is just better for this, I think. So I'm gonna scrape it off of here. I don't want it to build up too high with the new putty to where I then am dealing with a Z-axis height issue and the cooler then doesn't make good contact where it needs to. The thing about the putty is it'll just ooze out where it's not needed. You might notice some scratching on here. My plastic tool left some marks, but it's copper, it's really soft. And it's like not, it looks worse than it is. So it's not like that's gonna cause me any issues. I'm gonna put balls of putty on there. So put one there. It's probably way more than I need. If there's one thing I've learned with like talking with Alex over at Northridge Fix and such is, we are a wasteful country. We like to go, oh, that's broken, and just toss it, when I have learned just how much is repairable. Things you would think are not repairable, guys like him and obviously Northwest Repair, like these guys are fixing things people have written off as complete losses. And maybe we wouldn't be in such a position that we are today if as a society we were more willing to repair things rather than just toss it, you know? I don't know how else to say it. I mean, we are definitely a wasteful country. Like in Taiwan, man, you see proper like repair shops everywhere. Like electronics repair is everywhere because they're just like, why throw it away? It's got value. If like, I don't know, a power phase over here dies, that's easily repairable. And we just like to go, trash, get a new one. Anyway.
So the thermal grizzly putty paste is very thick.
I'm going to pre-spread it because it is a direct dye. It's easier said than done with the thermal grizzly paste. It's like, I want to spread it, but not, see how I'm like wiping it off now? Roman, I love your stuff, but I hate working with it, my gosh.
Everyone's like eyebrows twitching right now in Germany.
He's like, what are you doing? Was machen Sie? This is not the normal method at which he would say to put his paste on, but if I just hit it with a little heat, so this is the method at which I like to do it. And yes, I'm kind of putting a lot of paste on there for obvious reasons. See that? Viscosity, yay! It's literally all I did was a viscosity lesson about how temperature and viscosity are, they're proportional. So here we go. Everything in the reverse order. So flip this guy around. It's all lined up. So 1, 2, 3. And I always like to get a little CPR. Staying alive.
No, it's the other song.
Oh yeah. At first I was afraid, I was terrified. Sorry, a little office reference there. SSD's in there, RAM's in there, all the screws are down.
Did you get this one?
Yeah, I thought. You pass, grasshopper. That'll snap back in. And then this guy, you have to slide this in first because some of the screws pass through in the corners to right there. So that goes like that. There, all right, I'll put all these screws back in, we'll fire it up, and see if this did a damn thing. I'm not entirely confident that this changed anything. It might just be the fact that it's a 14th gen Intel and a 4090 GPU that's literally the size of like a 4060 Ti die. Well, power's up, that's a good sign. I mean, look, electronics are expensive. And I just looked up some of the current Clevos that run the Core Ultra and the 5070 Ti. They start at $4,300. So I was like, I am not getting a new laptop. This obviously doesn't need a new laptop. It's just, it's not even one of those things where I'm like, well, you know, maybe I'll just upgrade because no, no, absolutely not. Okay, so far it all sounds the same, but the crazy part is the air coming out is like lukewarm. So I'm curious now, what do the temps look like in the game? Okay, so in the game, those temps are already significantly better. Because remember, they were in the 80s towards 90s in the game. We're at 67, 68 on the GPU now. So there was improvement. There's no doubt about it. What really happened here is, I mean, we just got Clevoed. That's what it is. No, Clevo makes great stuff. It's just, obviously, when you're dealing with a 3/4 of an inch of height, and you saw the heat fin system or the heat pipes, it's a beefy system. It's just, we're asking a lot for a 13900, etc. You know what ultimately still would made this thing the best gaming experience? And I guess I could do a video on it if you guys wanted me to. It's actually about $100. It wasn't cheap, but a true sealed fan intake system that blows into the bottom of this. I rarely do gaming on this, believe it or not, but at home, every now and then my friends will come over and we'll play games like in my great room or whatever, and I'll play on this instead of upstairs on my main system. And I was like, man, this thing gets hot. So I got a proper, it's like a 240 mil or a 220 mil fan on the bottom, and it's got a seal around the outside. So when you put the laptop on it, it seals up the bottom, so all that intake air blows into the laptop, where it was so good and so efficient that the laptop fans barely turned because the amount of static pressure and airflow from that fan, which is much quieter, was enough to cool the system. So if you guys are interested in seeing something like that on this channel, which these things have been around for decades, I found one that's actually good. It's not Razer, and so far it really does the job, and it's its own USB hub and all that stuff. So it was pretty sick. It was fairly low profile. It actually did the job very, very well. So if you want me to do a video on that, let me know. I'll use this exact laptop so you can see. There you go, repasted. We had improvement, but again, the improvement is because of the aggressiveness of this fan curve, not enough to make it quiet. Excuse me, but it is quieter. All right, guys, thanks for watching. As always, we'll see you in the next one.